Alrighty, so I just wanted to put into kind of more simplified style terms what our kind of goal is here. So in the last vid, or the last few vids, I kind of been trying to get this image out. Okay, so looking at these certain signifiers that show us that these iconic characters and their stances, their whole makeup is based on these areas where consciousness is associated with in human biology, and possibly other areas too. Now here we have the brainstem and the trigeminal nerve, and here we see viricocha. Now here's the as it's been termed by some, as we'll call it a signifier, that's what it is. Here we have the it's a bit blurred here, but there's a bit of an angulation here you can see on the nerve endings, and it's the same angulation that you see on this stance in Peru. Now that's not the only signifier here. We can go into another completely different area of culture and people on the globe, and we see the same signifier here. Now it's the associations that also continue the story. Here we have Ishtar in this stance resembling consciousness. What kind of consciousness she is representing is the interesting thing. Now she is usually associated with the animal kingdom, if that says anything. We got a few owls here. Her feet are not human, and obviously she has wings, so there's an animal consciousness there that we're going to explore. For now, we're gonna stick to viricocha. Okay, so focusing on consciousness, and specifically these two keys to consciousness, as we see here. See viricocha holding two sticks. Call them what you will, but this is not open to interpretation, I'm afraid. It has very significant, defined meanings. I'll show you, for an example, how to decode. Okay, so, give you a head start. I've identified these things as keys, so metaphorically speaking, we can interpret them as sticks. If we want to take a more aboriginal shamanic approach, it takes two sticks to make fire. It was the gods who brought fire to mankind. And here we have a god with two sticks. It's kind of very significant, and if we improve this technology, we take it up a few levels. We see the word pyramid fire, middle, middle, within, something. So we see the fire within, and what is the fire within? Consciousness is the fire of life. So, yes, sorry to say, but we're dealing with consciousness here. And when it comes to the pyramids, it's not just a power plant to run a few light bulbs or whatever tech they had. I mean, you don't align a geometric structure with magnetic north more accurate than modern day. You align it up to a star system that is in alignment with that particular location exactly 15,000 years ago or whatever, just to light a light bulb. It's ridiculous. They weren't harnessing just energy or whatever, they were harnessing consciousness. And this is going to teach us exactly what consciousness is. As described as in other research been doing here, there's these two keys that pop up in some unknown gypsy. They say Nostradamus wrote it, but it's the same with the Voynich manuscript. No one really knows who wrote it. All we know is it's very intriguing and very mysterious. But this apparent lost Nostradamus book was going on about two keys to consciousness as well. And it said at the start of global cataclysms, the two keys will be given to a woman. And this is the closest thing I found here. We see a woman holding these two things, as it were. They are quite different in representation. And we see here at the time this was done, there was global cataclysms. It's basically 3,000 years ago, around the birth of Venus. The birth of Venus pretty much marked the end of dynastic Egypt and the start of one of the Mayan calendars. So here's us collecting a little piece of our true history. But what we're focusing on now are these keys to consciousness. Now, I said I will describe these keys, but we're going to simplify it before we expand it, as that's all we're given really to start with also in these symbolic communications. Okay, so we got so it kind of does look like a key at the end of these sticks, alright? You got the teeth here, and the teeth kind of look like these little Viracocha men everywhere. So we have a signifier, we have the round eye, and we have a round kind of thing here. So there is a similarity, a signifier there. It's telling us there is a connection. It might be small, and subtle, but it's there. Remember, it has to fit into a bigger picture. So, what are these little things signifying? Well, as we know, well, probably more so as I'm about to tell you. I did tell you that the brainstem association is there. So we got like this little kind of lumpy dude here. we've got the trigeminal nerves, but where's Ishtar? So we have her in the stance as well, old Ishtar, and as we see here, she's not a stumpy character, is she? Okay, so we've got the legs that go down there into the more, it seems to take on a more animal form. Well, let's follow that then. Okay, so this dude, we're dealing with a male character, I'd say the following the brainstem down to the spinal cord seems to be some sort of female representation there, and in this the legs seem to be cut off. Now I think because it goes down the spinal cord, we're going into the more arousal functions of awareness, and we know from Harvard, thanks Harvard, that through experiments consciousness is connected through these through the arousal kind of mechanisms. There's three main areas, I think, in the brainstem, and yeah, the arousal functions are one of them, connected to consciousness. Now, the legs are cut off. Okay, we got little stumpy boys focusing on this area, and that is because this god is some sort of virgin master. It's like he's not into the animal base, and I don't think he even procreates sexually, as we see Ishtar's representation as it gets lower. Probably can't see it on this dodgy camera, but yeah, she doesn't have human feet, and down around here we got the owl. Oh, the owls are not what they seem. She's even standing on some sort of animal. Now this goddess appears in different kind of similar forms, but slightly different. In Egypt, actually, I'm not sure what this one's from. I know there's one from Egypt, and then there's probably some Anunnaki version or something. But anyway, so there's a bit of a breakdown for you of how they construct these communications. Yeah, what else was I going to say? Yeah, so it's not just to, light a few light bulbs, this pyramid. It's the real power they're harnessing is consciousness. And these two sticks, we can relate straight up simply to left and right brain. We have the left side of awareness connected to the right eye, I should mention. Pretty much basic mechanical thinking, like 1 and 1 makes 2. Then you got the right side connected to the left eye, the right side of the brain, the left side of awareness, which is the abstract, the higher thinking. And I was thinking today about the theory of everything, and someone mentioned that what a ridiculous concept, and I thought, yeah, it is completely ridiculous, but at the same time there is a skeleton key into everything, and that is the abstract way of viewing the world, where everything is rhyme and reason. And once you got that key of, you know how to look at it properly, what it really is in this pure poetry that we see, you have a thought, something manifests around all that. Let's think of an example, like how I think I was describing how things of the heavens kind of find their way to places on the earth. Certain places line up at certain equinoxes, and then they built their sacred sites on top of it and developed that technology. That was a way of looking at the world, seeing how consciousness is always at work, even creating these natural formations, and it's leading somewhere, and you can know where that's leading, and you can know consciousness itself. And these ancients did know that, and they had these two keys to consciousness, and that was their theory of everything. That was their keys into everything. So yeah, that's all I want to say in this bit. Have a great day.